Hello everyone. As you all know, we actually finished the Pabbly Connect Ltd launch yesterday. And as you know, we actually run out of the codes that people wanted to buy. And we actually got several messages from different people who actually asked us, is there a way that we can still get some codes because we want to use Pabbly Connect for our business. And because there were so many queries, we actually started a waiting list so that people who are not able to get it can actually add their emails into waiting list, and somehow they can get the access whenever we open the very same offer sometime in future, or if there are any cancellations or refunds happening for existing codes, we can basically open up the same codes for some other people. So as you can see, we are actually currently there are about 8 people who are actually watching this sheet right now. The waiting list right here has about 142 people in it. And the amazing thing about this waiting list is that it is actually updated in real time, so that whenever there is any new person who gets added to a waiting list, the counter automatically increases. So it is all real time and it is happening instantly. We implemented the very same concept on the codes remaining as well, because we were doing the very same live counter for remaining codes since about 2-3 weeks, and the very same counter was also built using the very same principle. So if you can understand how the waiting list was working, you will basically understand how we actually implemented the codes remaining section here. So let me just show you how it is working on the backend. So the first thing that we actually did was to create a form using our own Pabbly form builder, and we actually set up a very nice form here. It has the first name of the person, it has the last name of the person, and then the email address on which the person wants to get the access. So we actually created this nice looking form using Pabbly form builder, and anyone who really wants to get access and wants to join the waiting list, they can basically enter their name and email address right here. So because the way Pabbly Connect work is to get some data from an external software so that it can basically push the very same data to a different software. So to get us data from an external software, we have this concept of, let me just show that to you. We have a concept of webhooks. So as you can see right here, within Pabbly form builder, we have webhooks, and you can see that all the webhook data is being sent to this specific URL because we have already added a webhook right here. If you want to add a new webhook, you can also do that. But currently you can see the webhook is already added, and this webhook URL actually comes from Pabbly Connect because Pabbly Connect is the software that we are basically using for doing the integration. Okay. Now moving to the Pabbly Connect sheet, you can basically see that there are multiple columns. That here it is first name, last name, email, and we are also adding a counter column right here because we want to increase the counter by 1 every time someone subscribe to this specific forms. Okay, so you can see the counter, the first name, last name, email address. This is actually coming up from the data right here, which is actually submitted right here. Counter is something that we are adding through Pabbly Connect so that we can actually enhance and increase the counter as soon as a single person gets added. Now I'm going back. These all counters are getting added up on the last column. So on the 10,000 column, you can see we actually are adding, we have a simple sum function which sums all the data from D1 to D9999. This means we are getting a summation right here on this specific sheet, and it is the waiting list for Pabbly Connect, and all the people who are subscribing to the waiting list are getting added to the very same list. Now we also have a sheet where we are using a simple import range function. So this basically what it does is it basically pulls out data from a different sheet and it displays the data on a different sheet altogether. So we have used a simple import range function. Import range function works in a way where you have to enter a sheet URL of your previous sheet. So this is the sheet URL that you can see, and this is the import function. You can see the same sheet URL right here. Then you have to mention the sheet number, and you can see the sheet number or the sheet name is right here, which is sheet 1. And then you have this exclamation mark, and lastly you have the cell number on which your data is there. So it says D10000, and D10000 is right here. So we are actually pulling up data in real time from this specific sheet, which is the waiting list for Pabbly Connect, and we are actually pulling data from this specific sheet. We are adding all the counter right here, and then we are actually pulling the data right here. Now the Pabbly Connect thing actually comes in between, because what we are doing is we are actually capturing the response from the backend, and then we are actually sending the data on the Google Sheet. So here is my Pabbly Connect scenario. Here is how it works. The first step is the webhook section. We actually captured the webhook URL, and as you can see, we actually put out our webhook URL right here. So this means whenever this form is submitted, we are actually getting the data on this webhook response right here. So this is the sample webhook response that you will get. You can see the first name, last name, and the email address. Okay, so these are the three data that are very, very important to us: the first name, last name, and the email address. On the next step with Google Sheet, what we have done is we have actually integrated one of our Google Sheet, which is the waiting list for Pabbly Connect. And we have actually added and linked our sheet 1, which is this sheet. And we are actually sending data in a very smart way. What we have done is we have just mapped the data which is coming on the response like this, because you have to use double quotes between each data, and every value is separated by a comma. You can actually see that example as well. So you can see we actually mapped the first name, then the last name, then the email address, and after in the last we also are putting out one static value, which is 1. And you can see the counter increases by 1 every time, because lastly we are doing the summation of all these fields on the bottom. So once we do that, we can see the API response, and it is basically successful. This actually means everything is successful. You can see all the emails are adding right here. The 142 email is currently are there, and it is basically being shown right here. So let me just fill out one more data just to show that it is actually working fine. So I'm just adding one of the email, and I'm just submitting this form, and I'm clicking on join now. So you can see, thank you for joining the waiting list. The sheet here now says 143, and because the data is going right here, you can see the 143 data is appearing right here. And we basically integrated Pabbly Connect Pabbly Form Builder with Google Sheet in real time. Datas are here added in real time. So I believe and I hope you must have understood how we are managing the entire scenario. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always reach us to at admin@pabbly.com. Thank you for watching.